And what's the most amount that you can put in per year?
7,000 per year.
Okay. So $7,000 per year. So that's the first thing in my mind that you should be maxing out. And the cool thing about it now is, especially with these ETFs, and once again, this is not financial advice to anyone, but we're going to go over what someone your age, 18 to 25, and then somebody my age who's like post 50, what, they should be doing, according to us, of course, right?
Of course.
All right. So number one, could you just tell me the platforms that someone your age uses?
So for everyday use, I would say Robinhood is very popular.
And can you turn up your volume a little bit, if you don't mind?
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, so Robinhood definitely has, Robinhood has exploded, especially with my generation.
Uh-huh.
A lot of my friends casually use Robinhood, whether it be just putting the stocks here and there, or they actually have where you could do your Roth IRA on Robinhood now. I don't know when that became an option, but one of my friends just told me that was available. I personally use E-Trade. I know a lot of people will use Vanguard. That's a very popular for.
Vanguard actually has a platform in itself. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But you don't have to use you have to use all Vanguard stuff when you're on? Okay. So, and then what else is there? Fidelity, obviously, Schwab.
Fidelity, Schwab, yes.
But okay, so either way, I mean, I know E-Trade, I know Fidelity, I've seen them. I know, okay, so E-Trade, you can call them if you have a question, Can you do that with Robinhood?
That I actually don't know. I believe they do have a service that you can call now. Like I said, the past 2 years, Robinhood has really exploded. They've been putting in a lot of new implements to become more mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think for the younger crowd, it's definitely. I have a brother that just turned 18, and first thing he did was open up a Robinhood account. It was almost like it was automatic.
So is he doing a Roth in there, or is he just fiddling around buying whatever?
That I don't know.
Right.
I guess he's just fiddling around.
So the one thing that I would tell everyone 18 to 25 or 16 to 25, I don't know when you can open up a Roth. If you're getting 16, you're getting a paycheck, I would open up a Roth IRA right away with your after-tax dollars. Stick your investments, I don't care what they are, in the Roth. Don't just buy a stock on Robinhood or whatever. Be smart about it, because when you turn 65, a lot of people don't know this. If you keep going the way you're going, you said, how long have you been doing your Roth IRA?
3 years.
If you keep doing that for even just the next 10 years, and then you stop and it just keeps growing at the average of 6%, 6 to 8%, whatever it is, everything that you take out when you're 59 and above is going to be tax-free and penalty-free. I think it's 59 and a half. So you have $1 million and you're like, you know what? I want to take out $1 million. That's yours. Nothing. I mean, no, the government's going to take this. No, it's yours. It's the best thing that a young person could do, because you're going to get a lot of time and you're going to get a lot of growth in there. And, I have said this to many people, especially your age, and it doesn't seem sexy, but and this is not financial advice. This is just you and me talking. This is not anyone who watches this, once again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial planner. Call your financial planner. Do not take my advice. This is just entertainment, whatever, disclaimer. But if I was your age, what I would do is I would take a 40-40 split. I would take 40%, put it in the S&P 500 and ETF. I would take the other 40, I would put it in the NASDAQ ETF, whatever it may be. You can pick one. Vanguard has them, I'm sure. Fidelity, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you have your casual QQQ.
Yeah.
NASDAQ, yeah.
Yeah, so I would split it 40-40 in those two, and then I would take the 20% in the Roth, and I would put not crypto itself, like the stuff you would put on a ledger, but I would put the ETFs or I would put the treasury companies. But you got to be careful. A lot of people don't even know what the treasury companies are. So I'll explain that. But I would put 20% in the ETFs. So you have a Bitcoin ETF, whether it's iBit or Fidelity has one, I think. There's a lot of people that had an ETF for Bitcoin. Then I would do Solana. You know, they're coming out with an ETF. I would do XRP. I don't know who else is coming out with an ETF. Like I said, we're going to talk about HBAR, you know, Hedera Hashgraph, in this video, but they're not. I don't think they're nowhere near an ETF. So I would probably split that 20%, even though it'll be an odd number. It would be Bitcoin. Well, you could do Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana ETFs if you wanted to. That's what I would do with that 20%. Actually, that's probably the smartest move. 5% in each. You know, so now you have exposure to those 4 coins in an ETF in a Roth. So this is going to be all tax free.
Correct.
Then someone your age, 18 to 20, 16 to 25, whatever. Once again, you take your paycheck and then you stick, you know, whatever you can in there, you know, and if grandma and grandpa want to, you know, give you some money just because, you know, they have some extra Christmas gift, Hanukkah, whatever it may be, you know, graduation from high school, whatever it is, I would stick that in there. I would max out that $7,000 and I would do that from the time you start that until the time you're done. And if you can't, call someone, call your parents, call your grandparents, call your uncle, call your rich uncle, your broke uncle, whatever it is, and try to max that out no matter what, and put your paychecks in there. Then, if you're my age, you know, the problem with me is, so I own a business and I'm a solo corporation, meaning I'm the only employee in my corporation. And then everyone else is 1099 contractors. So, but the good thing about with me is I really screwed that up. I had a Roth IRA, but I didn't max it out. I didn't do anything. So I screwed up the retirement thing. But the way that I am now, and because I'm a high income earner now, I do a solo 401k. Now I can actually do a Roth solo 401k, which means I think it's up to $60,000 I can put in each year. So what I do is I do a 50-50 split on that 401k. So I do a traditional 401k and I do a Roth. You know, I split, like, I don't know the numbers because I actually have an advisor, financial advisor. But it's like 30 and 30, let's say. I don't think it's 30 and 30. I think it's 20 and 20 or whatever it is. But I split it half and half. So when I turn 65, let's say, and I want to retire, half of that is going to be totally tax-free. But because now I have a business and I want to depreciate, you know, those gains first, you know, I want tax-free later and I want tax-free now. So I split it.
Okay.
Someone my age should have a 401k that they've had for 25 years, but a lot of people my age don't at 51. They screwed up, including myself, but I'm able to double it up. So instead of just doing 7,000, I can put up to $60,000. But that's if you have your own company, you know. But we'll talk about that later. But somebody my age should have, you know, a few $100,000 in a 401k. They've been working 30 years or whatever, or 20 years, whatever it's been, and they should have that taken care of. But if they're your age, 16 to 25, you have a shot right now at retiring with millions of dollars. And this is the easy part. You're not even once a year, you're putting it in. Don't worry about each month or whatever. I mean, you can do it that way, but you could put it in once a year in January or at the end of the year. It might be even better when the stock market's down. Who knows? But once a year, you could stick in that $7,000, do 40% NASDAQ, 40% S&P, and then 20%, 5% in each one of those ETFs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. Boy, oh boy, man. I wish I could be 24 all over again. I really do. Then on top of that, if you really make money, you know, that's $7,000. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year, and instead of buying that BMW, you know, whatever class, you buy your, you know, you do your 2020 Toyota Camry that costs you $15,000 instead of $60,000 car, and you take this extra money, instead of looking cool, you take this extra money. Now you're buying those like Solana, XRP, Bitcoin. Oh no, I wouldn't buy personally. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin at your age unless you already have it. If you have it, keep it. Keep it for at least another 10 years. If you don't have it, I would stick to the coins Solana, XRP, and HBAR. If you're really into it and you know what the heck you're doing, you can look at Chainlink, you can look at Avalanche, you could look at these things and pull the trigger. But if you want to listen to somebody like me, who I've done my research on these other coins, or you can look at SUI, all these different. But if you really want to stick to the basics, then I would buy those 3 coins: XRP, HBAR, and Solana. So first you do your Roth, you take care of that, you get that $7 grand out of the way, and then you start investing in the crypto. But you already have the S&P and you already have the NASDAQ. Do not fool around with stocks on the side. I wouldn't do that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't. I would mess with crypto because that's what's hot, and that's what's going on. And you say, okay, I have my stocks. Forget about bonds or anything like that. Of course, especially at your age, I don't think anyone should deal with bonds or anything unless they're 80 years old or something. But that's the structure that I would do.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good breakdown, the 40-40. And then even if you want to be on the more conservative side, you could do 45-45 and then 10. But I think the 40-40-10, 40-40-20, it's not bad at all. I think, like you said, do your research, especially if you want to go into the ETFs or if you want to go in the specific. What did you say again about the companies that are?
Well, the treasuries. So that would be like, I didn't explain that. So that would be something like, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company, what he did in 2020. Basically, like, his company buys Bitcoin. So his stock has gone up by God knows, like 2,000% over the last 5 years. But it's not because his company is doing something like, let's say MicroStrategy did, I don't know exactly what they do, but let's say they did business intelligence and software, but that stock didn't go up because of that much. The stock went up because of the Bitcoin. But if you bought that stock, you still get the gains of the stock. So now you could look at, if you're really into it, you could look at the treasury companies that are buying Solana, XRP, HBAR is going to have treasury companies. You can buy those stocks just like you can buy MicroStrategy, even though MicroStrategy went up from $15 in 2023 to 2-3 years later, or 2022, $15 to $335. Wow. So in 2 years, you made 2,000%. That's in a stock. So you could actually do that and put that in your Roth.
Yeah.
But you would have to really do your research on what companies. So for instance, like Galaxy is a company I think that's going in with Solana. And I mean, what the number one is Forward Industries. They have a balance of $7 million Solana. I don't know when this article, I'm looking on another screen. Let me see if I can, I would pull it up. But this is September 16th, and it says the top 5 largest publicly traded Solana treasury firms. So what they are doing is what MicroStrategy did with Bitcoin, but what they're doing it with Solana. These companies, who cares what they actually do? I mean, it could be like GameStop, which buys Bitcoin, and then GameStop stock just goes up, and it's like nobody's buying anything at GameStop. It doesn't matter; they're just buying, Bitcoin or Solana. So it says here in this article, and this article is from Decrypt, but anyway, Michael Saylor popularized the digital asset treasury. That's what these are. When his firm's strategy began buying Bitcoin in 2020, racking up over $70 billion worth of Bitcoin. in the years since. So that's why the stock went up. So people could look at treasury companies. But once again, you could do that, but you have to be a little bit, look, it's long term. You know, people your age, people even my age, it's long term. Like, so with me, I bought the coins because I didn't have the time. You know, I don't have time to waste. Like at 51 years old, I don't want to, I had to buy, like last year, I was buying XRP, you know, 50 cents and Solana at $44, maybe a couple of years ago, I forget. And Bitcoin, you know, bought it at 7,000, then 10,000, then 30,000. I'm not buying it at 115,000. I know it'll probably go to 1 million, but it's going to 10x from here. Well, I'm going to get 40x or whatever the heck it is. Same thing with Solana at $44. Same thing with XRP I first bought it at 27 cents. I mean, I made 375% already on my XRP. I don't know if that's going to happen again, you know, but it doesn't matter so much because people are like, oh, well, back in the day, and even now, certain companies, like you take a $1 billion company, let's say a company invests $1 billion, they're looking for a 1% return. If they get 1%, you know, what's 1% of a billion? I think it's $100 million. I mean,
1%. Yeah.
I think it's 100. You know, so that's what you're looking at. I mean, my math could be wrong. It could be, I think 1%. It's either I think it's 100 million or 10 million or whatever the heck it is. But that's what they're looking for: 1%, 2%, whatever. The more money you have, the less of the percentage you need to make big gains. The problem with your generation is they want that 375% because they have a little bit of money that they're playing with.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is stop thinking about the short term. Think about 10 years, decades. That's the way billionaires and all these people think. They're not thinking about a year from now. Thinking about 10 years from now. Let's put it this way. I'm 51. I was 34 years old. I was completely broke. 100% broke. Living on a couch in my own house that I owned. The mortgage was $720, and I had two people. It was a 2-bedroom house, basically. 2 other people that I rented out the rooms to pay the mortgage, and I slept on the couch. And, you know, people, one of these things where people love these stories, but it really sucks to live out that story. It was not fun. I didn't think I was going to have any money 10 years later. But then by the time I was 40, I had started the business at 34, you know, and this was insurance. So this was not sexy. It was not fun. It was not like, oh, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. Started at 34. By the time I was 38 or 40, I had was making over $100,000 a year. Well, definitely by 40, but I think by 38, I was making over 100,000 in residual income. And then it was like, okay, now I'm doing something. Then I discovered, well, before that, I discovered YouTube and discovered, I mean, people can still make money on websites.
Yeah.
Right? And your generation, I mean, I've never even used TikTok. I don't even watch TikTok. I don't know how to upload something. I did upload a couple things. Someone might find my face on there years ago, but I was like, I don't understand this. I don't get it. But your generation could do all these social media things. Pick one subject, do it, you know, as a side thing. Right now, I mean, I'm doing, and it doesn't pay well, but, you know, YouTube Shorts for my business, I'm doing them. I mean, you can do them, and you don't even have to edit. It's like, hey, I'm going to talk for 45 seconds or 30 seconds, and bang. Just same thing like TikTok, you know? And these are things that instead of, you know, when I was growing up, we had these sitcoms that were 30 minutes long. During the commercials, I mean, you could have clicked the thing and did a TikTok or whatever and made money on it. But you have to constantly be thinking about that, you know, and people are saying, I can't make money. Well, you just watched, you know, whatever, the new Transformer movie or whatever the heck is out now. And it's like, you could have done something during that time, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing is like entertainment kills people because they want entertainment constantly. You want to watch football Thursday through Monday or Tuesday. I mean, it's basically every day of the week you can watch football. And on Saturdays and Sundays, you can watch all day college football on Saturday and all day Sunday if you wanted to watch football. It's a complete waste of time. I mean, unless you really like, you can't like every team like that. So, but you could be uploading a video and making money, or working on a blog on your website that has ads. And people think, well, how did you set up a website? Well, I did it on Fiverr. I found somebody in Bangladesh, that set it up, and that's my partner. So Fiverr, yeah. I mean, at my age, I did it like, I don't know, 5 years ago. So if I can do it at 46 years old or whatever, somebody can do it now.
Yeah.
It's the thing. You can partner people with people that are global, so you can make money. Somebody in Bangladesh, $400 a month is a paycheck. Well, if you partner with them and you're making $1,000 a month, you give them $400 and you make $600, you just made your Roth IRA right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
6 times 12. I mean, there's your Roth IRA. But I mean, it's simple math, and it's like, well, how do I do that? Well, I can put my website in the description or whatever, and you could look at it. Maybe I'll put it there, and people can get an idea of. In fact, I will put it in the description so they can get an idea of like, okay, where did he put the ads? But it has nothing to do with finance. It's insurance, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. Then if you're going to look, you could have multiple YouTube channels. You could have multiple. I'm assuming like. You don't even need multiple, but Instagram pays you somehow, I guess, TikTok, all these different things. I think it's absolutely crazy that in my generation, you had to get a lawnmower, go out and cut the neighbor's grass to make $20. In your generation, you just have to hit record.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be talented. I'm not talented at all on camera. I've told many people, do you think I look good on camera? You think people watch me because I look, like people are looking at me like I look like, the modern day punk, whoever the heck that is, the modern day movie star? No, it's, looking at information. And if you have good information, if you know what you're talking about, then people are going to watch you, and you can make money that way. So know your craft, whatever it is, get it online. Number one, don't be afraid of the camera. Don't be afraid that my hair doesn't look great today, or I don't look cool, or my friend's going to think I suck. I'm 25 years old. I'm talking about insurance. It's boring. My friends are, doing goofy crap online, because goofy crap only lasts so long. Even that guy, whatever the heck you call it, the boxer now, whatever his name is, big tall. I mean, he was a goofball, and eventually he's like, I don't want to do this, or I can't do it anymore. It's not funny, or I'm getting sued. I think he got sued. So then he's like, oh, let me be a boxer. Let me put that online. Let me, do that. So, besides doing that, I mean, the basis of this is the crypto and the Roth IRA. And like I said, you don't need much. And here's the thing, like, there could be some kid watching this right now who lives in some terrible place. It could be a ghetto in America, or it could be a ghetto in London, or it could be in Africa, it could be wherever. And especially if you're in the United States or London, or Europe or something like that, you shouldn't complain about anything. If you do, you're just weak, period. And your generation, Gen Z, is full of the weakest people ever, because I don't care where you live, you can make money, by. And this stupid governor of New York, can you look up her name? I think it's Fort or whatever. She said something like, inner city black kids don't have computers, and they don't have phones, they don't have the internet. I mean, what a moron. I mean, here I am, I'm 51. Governor of New York, look up her age.
Hochul?
Huh? Hochul or whatever?
Hochul?
Yeah.
Hochul?
How old is she? I don't even know. Look up Governor of New York age.
67.
Yeah, she's I mean, come on. She doesn't know anything. Right now, I don't care where you live in America or whatever. You can pick up your phone and do a TikTok video and make money. And you don't have to show your butt, or you don't have to be stupid, because people watch smart people online. They don't like dummies, because eventually dummies that shake their butt or do whatever, these girls or whatever, that's not going to last. Someone else always has a better butt or a better whatever, and there's fitness channels of these people or whatever, and it's fine. It's the same stuff, but whatever, have information that other people don't have access to.
Yeah.
Right now we're talking about this Roth. I wonder, let's say this thing got 1 million views. Out of those 1 million views, how many of these people would pull the trigger? So, okay, a question to you for somebody watching. What would you do right now if I said, start a Roth IRA? Just start it and put $1 in it. Explain how you would do it.
Well, I mean, I would look online to the top.
No, I mean, as if you know. Just
Oh, as if I already know?
Yeah, you do know. So explain it.
Yeah, I would go into my E-Trade account and I would.
Well, you'd have to set up an E-Trade account.
Well, are you saying as if I'm someone that does not have all?
Does not have a Roth IRA, but you're telling them how to do it.
Okay, yeah, I would go online. I would look up the top 3 places to open up a Roth IRA. It will probably say E-Trade and maybe Vanguard or Fidelity or one of those companies.
Or Robinhood.
Robinhood, yeah. And then you would go about it. It would ask you your information. It would say open up, and then you would link a bank account. I would also say then you would look up ETFs for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, which I believe for the NASDAQ, it's QQQ or QQQM. Those are pretty popular. And then for the S&P 500, I can't get it off the top of my head, but you just look up online and it'll tell you ETFs.
Well, it's SPY, but SPY or whatever.
SPY,
That's one of them, but there's, yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
VOO, there you go. VOO.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you would transfer money.
Put it in there. And then
you have to make sure that you purchase that ETF. You can't just put money in a Roth IRA. You actually have to put it towards something. A lot of people, believe it or not, they'll put money into a Roth IRA account thinking that that's where it'll grow. No, you actually have to invest in specific ETFs.
Well, one of the things with the E-Trade, and I'm not pitching E-Trade, but I just don't know anything about Robinhood, is, I mean, you can actually call some E-Trade.
Yeah.
You can call them, and I'm sure you can call Fidelity, and I'm sure you can call Vanguard, or whoever these people are, and say, hey, look, here's my story. I'm 18 years old. I want to open up a Roth IRA, and this is where I want to put my money. Or I want to open up a Roth IRA, and they're going to say there's a minimum. I think there's a minimum of 500, or there's got to be a minimum. And so at least have a minimum of 500 or whatever they're going to ask. But you can call them 10 times. Don't be afraid to call at 18 years old because you think somebody my age or somebody who's 38 years old is going to think you're an idiot. They're not going to think you're an idiot. They're going to think you're smart.
Yeah, I mean, their whole job, and never forget, their whole job is to help you.
Yeah, their whole job is to help you. And they know once you set up, like you have this E-Trade account, you're most likely, why would you transfer it to Robinhood? Why would you transfer it to Fidelity? You probably wouldn't, because it's like, as long as you're getting the customer service, it's the same ETFs and whatever as every other platform. It's not like, Instagram compared to Snapchat. It's the same exact, platforms might look different. But what they know, once they help you and they set it up, you could be there for 60 or 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
You're going to answer all your questions. They might even do, they're going to walk you through how to set it up. So you're right. That's the first thing. I'm kind of talking over you, but that's the first thing I would do. Pick up the phone, have $500 in an account, and say, I want to set up a Roth IRA. I have $500. How do I do it?
Yeah. And then also, if you want to just put it to automatic withdrawals each month, they'll tell you exactly how to do that. So you could set it to, okay, well, here's VOO and here's QQQ. I want $100 to go into both. So $200 each month, $100 split for both to go in each month. And it'll automatically withdraw from your account every month, and it'll automatically invest into both of those ETFs for you.
Yeah. Perfect. Like I was saying, I mean, if you live in the United States or Europe or first world country, I don't care where you live. You could be a farmer, some kid who's a farmer. As long as you have internet, which I'm sure that you do. I haven't been on a farm in Idaho or whatever. Or you could be, in the worst city, in the worst section of the city in the United States. Most likely, like I said, this this governor was like, oh, they don't know how to use the internet. That is totally bogus. You know, I saw the clips of people. You know, she specifically targeted, you know, black kids or whatever. I think she did, that they don't know how to use the internet. Then of course they're making fun of her on the internet. Oh yeah, we don't know how to use the internet. Here we are in Brooklyn, or here we are in, you know, wherever, Chicago, and we're in the south side of Chicago. We don't know how to use the internet. I mean, it was laughable. But the thing is that, hey, look at her age. She's almost 70 years old. She's totally ignorant, has no idea she's ignorant. And what we're saying is that anyone in the United States is a positive. This is not negative. Yeah. Anyone in the United States, anyone in London, England, anyone in, you know, Italy or Ireland or Denmark or any of this stuff could take this video. Pretty much, as long as they, I don't know how those countries run things, but definitely in the United States, anywhere you could take this video and call E-Trade, call Fidelity, call Schwab, if they can call Robinhood, and set up a Roth IRA, and you're on your way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's get into the crypto. Even though we could stop here and just do the video on Roth IRA, let's just get in real quick about the crypto. Like I said, if you own, in my personal opinion, if you own Bitcoin, great, keep it. You know, if you own Ethereum, great, keep it. But I think the three other coins that I would specifically be investing in, Solana, XRP, and HBAR. And you could say, like I said, and listen, I didn't hit them at the very, I've been watching Raoul Pal and the Paul Barron Network, and I mean, all these different people. You know, Moon Lambo, this guy. I've been watching these guys for years. And I bought Solana, $44. I bought XRP, the lowest was $27, most of it at 50 cents. I bought HBAR at 5 cents. And the funny thing about HBAR was, I thought, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This coin might just disappear. Well, it hasn't. You know, now it's 24 cents. And I believe it's going to double from here. And I believe XRP is going to double. And I believe Solana is going to double. I think that actually all of them are going to 4x from here. So even though and you can disagree with me if you want, but even if you're watching this video, once again, Roth IRA is your first thing. And you can put that 20% into those ETFs, and and make sure they're a spot ETF. And I know Solana and XRP are not out yet, you know, and HBAR is definitely not out yet with an ETF, but they're coming soon. So it's September 2025. You can put it into the Bitcoin ETF, you know, either iBit or one of those, you know, whatever, if you have to. But, you know, put that 20%. And then the leftover, I would keep in mind that, you know, this is not financial advice. Talk to a financial planner. That disclaimer, I'm not giving any advice. This is just two guys talking. But I would, me personally, especially at your age, if I had any extra money, that's what I would do. I would first start with HBAR because I think it's just a sleeper. Nobody's talking about it. But also, I have to admit, I mean, you got Solana and XRP that are like, they're just going to be around, man. They're going to be used. I mean, XRP, forget it. It's already being used all around the world. I mean, it's, you know, it could possibly take over a section of the SWIFT system. But Solana, with this guy, you know, from Galaxy, and like I was talking about the treasury firms, this guy Michael Novogratz, I mean, from Galaxy, you know, he's a billionaire. He's worth like $6.7 billion or something like that. I mean, this guy is pitching Solana hard. So you have to watch these guys. You know, it's like Paul Tudor Jones, the billionaire investor, was pitching Bitcoin hard like a year or two ago. If you're not listening to him, I don't know who you listen to, you know? So now I'm looking at this guy talking about Solana. And 6 months ago, if you would have asked me what I thought of Solana, I thought, well, I bought it at 44. I made my money, but I don't like this coin. I don't understand what it's doing. And I'm hearing all these things like SUI is better, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And it has its problems. And now all of a sudden it's like, boom, I start looking at all these companies. And then this guy's saying that it does 14 billion or has the possibility of doing 14 billion transactions per day, bigger than the stock market and all the treasuries and everything combined. and then it can do. I forget. I mean, so I would urge people to watch videos about Solana, watch videos about XRP, watch videos about HBAR, and the use cases and what do these coins actually mean. Not it's a meme coin and I think it's going to go up.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem with your generation. I don't know what you would say.
Yeah, I mean, meme coins are big, get quick rich scam, whatever you want to call them.
But you bought years ago. I mean, you were younger, but you bought Dogecoin, right?
I did, yes.
And you made 5x or 10x or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think I put like $800 in. I got 4 or 5 grand.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. And then you took it out, which is whatever. And then then it went down, and then it stayed down for a while. Then it went up, and then people FOMO'd into it, lost money. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got out quite to its peak actually, which is pretty lucky. But not long after that, it dropped, and it hasn't even come close to its peak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know the number that you got out? Point what
I have to check my.
Don't worry about it, but it hasn't even come close to that years later.
Not to my knowledge, no.
So that's like Shiba Inu or whatever. All these.
Yeah, all those meme. Yeah.
Yeah, I would urge people your age. Like I said, I made a gain of 375% on XRP, and it's a utility coin. It's not garbage. It's being used across the world. I invested in silver 15 years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst investment ever. And I just looked at it. You can look up silver now, but I think it's like $44 an ounce. I was paying $10 an ounce, $11 an ounce. And I'm like, this is horrible. It's sat at 13, 15. But the one thing about it is it's being used around the world. It's behind oil. It's the second most used commodity. So I always knew, as long as they print the dollar, they're going to eventually, this stupid thing is going to go up. And now I see on YouTube videos about, I'm not saying buy silver. That's the last thing I'm saying. But I'm seeing videos saying it's going to 100. It's going, whatever. Well, if it goes to 100, I'm like, okay, great. Finally, I 10x'd my money. It only took 15 years. But sometimes that, when you're 24 years old, at the time I was 35, I had 15 years to wait.
Yeah.
Because I was still making money. I was still whatever. If you're watching this video and you're 75 years old, forget it. I don't think there is going to, there might be people watching at 75 years old. I doubt it. The main goal is for people 18 to 25 or 18 to 30.
Yeah.
30 is not old, people. I was broke at 34. Totally broke. And you can have $1 million in assets. If you're 30 years old, you can have $1 million in assets by the time you're 40, almost no problem, as long as you follow the correct steps and make money. You have to have a job and everything. You can't just, there's this big thing when I was like your age and I was growing up about not having a job, but getting rich off real estate and stuff like that.
Okay.
Get a job, get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And put your money somewhere. It's $7,000 for a Roth per year. If you're making $60,000, it's 10% of your money.
Yeah.
You're putting 10%. They used to say put 10% in the church. Skip the church and put it in, crypto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not advice either, but you know what I mean. It's like, come on, 10% is nothing. Stop taking your girlfriend out to the Cheesecake Factory and tell her she's getting a slice of pizza. That's it.
Yeah, it progressively as you get older, it gets harder. I think, it's a small percentage of people that actually put into their Roth IRA continuously in their 20s, and it gets cut, I think, in half, if not even more than half, by the time people enter their 30s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like you said,
why would it get cut in half as they age?
House, car, wife. kids, you name it. Everything else becomes lifestyle inflation becomes a big thing, especially in America. People, nicer car, bigger house, bigger this, bigger that. And
Lifestyle inflation. Boy, that's a term. I haven't heard that one.
yeah, lifestyle.
Put that in the comments section. Where'd you get that one? I love that. Lifestyle inflation.
Somewhere online, probably.
Yeah. I'm sure you didn't make it up, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the reality of things. I mean, even now versus when I was in college versus now, I mean, it's not as if things are more expensive. Groceries, cars are more expensive, houses are more expensive. Everything is more expensive as time has progressed, at least for me. When I became a quote unquote adult at 18 years old, I mean, everything is more expensive than it is when I was that age. So, it's the same philosophy as then, especially because you'll start making more money. So you'll start buying nicer things, nicer clothes, nicer shoes, nicer this, which I mean, I understand. Everyone understands that. But
hold on one second, because I want to make this clear. You can still do that.
Of course.
Because we're talking about 10%. Approximately, if you're making $60,000, approximately, $6,000. Okay, you don't put the full 7, you put 6 in. Talking about 10% of your income going into a Roth. Then blow it on clothes. Blow it on, hanging out with your buddies, going out with your girlfriend. I mean,
yeah, I mean, of course, but a lot of the time people think they have all the time in the world, which you do. You have plenty of time, but compound interest is a beautiful thing. So the earlier you start things, the more compound interest it's going to have.
Yes.
So
how old were you when you started your Roth?
21.
Imagine if you started at 18, you'd have 3 more years of $21,000.
I actually just found out recently that you can start at 16. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start at 16, most people on average don't start until they're in their 20s with their Roth IRA.
Yeah. If they actually do, right?
So you're 4 or 5 years ahead of everybody else. I mean,
it sounds boring, but it's not boring, man. I'm telling you right now, and I said this, you're 24, I'm 51. I keep saying the ages so that people get that. At this point in my life, I'm out to dinner with my parents, and I haven't traveled hardly. I mean, I've been to South America. I've never been to Italy. I've never been to Japan. I've never been to Australia. I mean, name it. I haven't been there. I've been to Central America and South America and, the islands and Hawaii and whatever else. But I basically, at my age, I said, pick a place. Where would you go? And they said South Portugal. And I asked them why. And they said, it's awesome. It's cheap, compared to other places. And they have great cities. And then if you're in the South, you can go right to Spain. You can go from there to Spain. I'm going to pull up a map and Spain map. Anyhow, no, you don't have to be at the South. I mean, looks like you can go anywhere, but I guess Spain is probably cool. There's some cooler spots in, South Spain. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, they had said you can go anywhere. It looks like Portugal is just right next to Spain, but I can leave for a month and go to Portugal. And I'm 51 now. Somebody your age might say, "I don't want to wait till 51. What good is that?" Well, number one, I'm not married. I have been married, but I'm not single. Number two, I don't have any young kids. Number three, I own my own business and it's online. Number four, I have enough money. I make enough money and I have enough residual income.
Yeah.
And you're looking at somebody who's broke at 34 and barely, and making like probably average at 38 with no retirement.
Yeah. And
I've made bad investments along the way from 40 to 51. I've made bad investments. I've made great ones too. And man, how old was I? 31 years old. I owned a house. Bought it for $109,000. I invested $60,000. I pulled money out of the house. Because back then, houses went up like crazy. People pulled money out. They put porches on. They redid their basements. I pulled money out I started a shoe company out of Brazil with somebody. Flew down to Brazil, bought all these products. Turns out the style of the shoe was on its way out. I still have some of those shoes in my mom's basement. I lost like $60,000. You know, it was the worst company I've ever started, and I was 31. That's why I was broke at 34. And I was living on a couch renting out the 2 bedrooms because in my house. Because if I just wouldn't have been an idiot, I would have my own house, you know, and I could have rented out the couch or whatever to somebody, or I, you know, nothing, didn't rent it at all, and I would have had money to put somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and we touch on your generation with a house. I just, man, if I wouldn't care about a house at all. I would just, the Roth and the crypto, you know, right now.
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts on that, but
yeah, I mean, the focus of a house right now, it's just, it's out of reach for normal, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it might be out of reach, but who cares?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of living in an apartment, I can, once my lease is up, I can leave. I could go wherever I want. I'm not stuck.
Fix up.
Nope, no fix up, no nothing. I mean, who could be mad at that?
Yeah. They say, oh, you're losing money because you have a house. I can tell you right now, I own a house. And I just had to put a roof on, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just constant. And yeah, the roof lasts for 30 years, but it's got money out of your pocket. And if I didn't own a house, I could have put that money, let's say a roof costs you $30,000. You can put that money towards your Roth or your crypto or whatever. And then you have those gains. Eventually you're going to, we touched on this in a video before. It's 2025. By 2035, I'd have to look at the numbers, but the amount of baby boomers that are going to die, statistically,
yeah,
and they're all going to own homes, most of them, or they're going to live in those 55 plus communities, you know, but most of them own homes. So either they die or right before they're, you know, when they get sick, like 3 years before they die, they're going to want to sell their houses. There's going to be a huge influx in 10 years of people that want to sell their houses. And the people that are going to be right there to scoop them up, Generation Z.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not a priority right now. I think for a lot of us.
Shouldn't be. It should not be. Because you're going to be able to scoop them up for half price in 10 years. So do your Roth, do your crypto, do your job, do your travel.
Yeah.
I would kill to be 24 right now, 25 years old. I mean, you know, first thing I would do is, I would start a YouTube channel. I don't care how bad I looked on camera or how stupid I acted on or what information, you know, that's the first thing I would do. And I would just build and build and build. And the way that I built my other, you know, YouTube channel that actually, you know, I built it up was I begged people to watch the videos. I sent it to people. Then I would call them and say, did you watch it? No, I didn't have a chance. Turn it on right now, you know? And it sucks. I mean, I literally begged them, you know? And then eventually something hit, you know, and it was like, oh, now I have over 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm getting monetized. You know, it might take 6 months or whatever, but you just keep spreading it, keep spreading it. And then I had one video that had, and this is on another channel, of course, that has close to 1 million hits on it, and that was my, you know, my #1 video that exploded at the time. And the point of it wasn't to make money off of YouTube. The point of it was to have people call in and buy a product. So if it has 890,000 views on it now, that many people saw it and that many people called in and bought a product. But now what I'm saying is you don't need that. You get millions of views on your channel. You actually are saying something, you can make money off of that.
Yeah.
You don't even need to sell anything. The video is what, and your generation knows this. I don't have to explain this to you, you know, but another thing about your generation is you could do both. You could have a YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever it is, and you're doing something, and then you're actually selling a product also. You know, that's what I did for my channel, and I was focused on the product, not the amount of but focus on the hits or the amount of views. I shouldn't say hits, the amount of views, because that correlated with the amount of product that I sold. But it doesn't have to. You just focus on the views, and if you sell a product or if you make money on the thing, there it is.
Yeah.
So I think we can end here, man. It was a great video, and we'll talk some more about different things, and we'll dive deeper into specifics of the crypto or the Roth IRA, or especially the treasury companies.
Yeah, of course. No, I appreciate you having me.
All right. Good talking to you. We'll talk soon. Everyone subscribe to the channel. Click on the links below, and we'll see you at the next video.